Today we're going to talk about one of the most unspoken yet critical aspects of blockchain and post-quantum security. This is something that is never talked about on crypto Twitter. It's not talked about online. It's not even really talked about in bit proposals. And it's probably the single most important thing that is not discussed when talking about bringing a blockchain project to post-quantum security. In order to do this, if you have a blockchain, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, all of these rely on ECDSA. And ECDSA is all susceptible to a cryptographically relevant quantum computer. In other words, the address scheme can be broken, the public key can be turned into a private key if the quantum computer is powerful enough. So the solution is that you add in a post-quantum secure DSA so you can perform a different type of transaction onto that blockchain. Now, this by itself is not too incredibly difficult to do. NIST and governments across the world are already developing these standards, but the part that no one ever talks about is disabling the legacy DSAs. So, for example, if I wanted to take blockchain XYZ post-quantum secure, I would fork in a new post-quantum secure DSA, and it would have I would take my funds from that and then forward it to the new addressing structure. So what that does, that would make the funds that I forwarded it to post-quantum secure, but that does not make the entire blockchain post-quantum secure. So when you hear things like, oh, there's a plan for that, abstraction layers, we'll just do a hard fork or we'll just do a soft fork. This is a very slow migration process because all of these transactions need to be made manually, which means users have to do it themselves, including Bitcoin, including Ethereum. And this leads to an ideological existential problem. When do you deprecate the old DSAs? You could have Bitcoin, if there were a post-quantum secure DSA, like pay to quantum secure hash, and you would have different Bitcoin stored under different varying degrees of security. And one could easily then make the argument that one Bitcoin isn't necessarily equal to one Bitcoin because one's secure and one is not secure. And this creates a huge problem as it goes against the ideology of blockchain. No one is talking about this. You eventually have to shut off the old DSAs, and whatever users are left behind are left behind. And you have to do this before a cryptographically relevant quantum computer exists. So I wanted to give you these thoughts. I see all of the conversations happening on Twitter about post-quantum security, this problem solved, abstraction layers, and we've got a roadmap, they'll just hard fork and all of this, but nobody ever talks about this. So now you know. If you want more information, come see us at www.qrl.org. Feel free to jump into our Discord group. We got a lot of passionate people in there that love talking about this stuff, including myself. And until then, keep those digital assets secure.